chapter in all of our lives. Learn how to speak, not wanting to be in front of people. I learned how to be in front of people because they would take me in the office all the time. I said, these people must be crazy. I really thought they were nuts, but I grew to love them. You are jewels. Hi, everybody.
We're supposed to keep this short. The thing that you don't know is the staff grew. You thought you grew. You cannot believe how much the staff grew. And as people left INROADS, the Marcuses and all that, as they left, what they end up doing. The staff of INROADS grew, so I just want you to know, you thought you grew, but everyone that was the staff across the country, they grew also. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Carol, for warning me when you hired me that you couldn't tell me all the information at once because I quit. For approving my phone etiquette and telling me I was getting too many phone calls from women. For letting me slip out on the sly all the time to make a movie or do a commercial. And for letting me be the first one to get laid off when you had to cut back your staff. It's gotta be me! I gotta be free! Now, look, this is the moment to have a little jocularity. Let's get three tables at once. The INROADers from the first three tables here, come up and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, when you were with INROADS, and what your sponsoring company was.
And anybody who was in INROADS at the time I was knows that I'm not the one to bring up without a script. I mean, you had Mort, Carol, Nana, and Barbara. They were just a dynamic team and an awesome team. And Nana challenged me in every way in positions of leadership within INROADS and at school. And I took that challenge, and I'm very, very grateful. So I'm happy to be here. It's good to see everybody. And I could talk forever. I have a ball with INROADS. I love INROADS, and I give INROADS so much credit for where I am today. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Good evening. Hello. My name is Mike Phillips, and I stand before you as an imposter. I am not an INROADS graduate. I was one of the first 22, but I was a mess. I was one of the first 22, and I was humble, but I was also afraid. I was afraid of success. And just like my aunt would say, she said, boy, you get all the brains in the world, but no common sense. And Morton agreed. But yet he worked with me. I'll never forget, Morton told me that, Mike, you're good. You could be good at anything you want to do. And I was good. I was good at the parties. As a matter of fact, I was great. People from Penn State, they will tell you, the party didn't start till Mike walked in. I just want to let you know, Morton, you didn't fail me at all. I think without you in the INROADS program, I probably would never have graduated from Penn State. And I did graduate from Penn State, and I did get my master's degree from Penn State as well.
Hello everyone, I'm going to make this a lot quicker than Mike because he will talk forever. And yes, the party didn't start till he came and it didn't end till he left.
That's right.
But for some of us, we stayed in touch. A lot of us, like you said, I'm the godmother of a wonderful little girl that I went to, that I met through INROADS. I met her mother and we've been together ever since. And hopefully she'll go on to be in INROADS too. There wasn't a staff. The staff at INROADS was Mort and Carol. That was it. That was the staff. They were giants in our eyes. And like Mike said, some of us didn't graduate, but that's okay. Look where you are now in life. And you still give back. You still work with children, and you're still helping them to push them on. So I want to thank INROADS for giving us opportunity. And again, for a lot of us, that was really big. I worked for Giroux Corporation. No one knows that they're out of business now, but we had a wonderful class. We had wonderful times, and you guys made it possible. And we thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Gill. I work at Blue Cross, Highmark now. I first started, well, I'm coming from Aliquippa, way out in the country, as they told me I come from the country. And our choice out there was either football or steel mill. And when somehow Carol found out I had some decent grades, and I was working steel mills. They were paying $8 an hour. Everyone was paying what, $3.35? No brainer. Hello, I'm an accountant. Carol called, and then my mom said, "That lady keep calling. That lady care for you. You better go up to that meeting. I gotta catch the bus. It's cold outside." It's been a wonderful journey because most of you went to the private corporate world. I ended up being a nonprofit working for a preschool program for 22 years and became a consultant with the federal government and so forth, my own business. But Carol, I love you more. I love you. You meant so much to my life. My mother said, they adopted you, so you better get your butt up there. Thank you.
My name is Janet Magwood. Janet Roberts Magwood, and that's important. I was a nerdy kid from Penn Hills High School. I two things I want to say about INROADS. First is that's where I met William Magwood, the next speaker, and that had a profound effect on my life. We've been married 23 years. And Saturday mornings, that was a piece of cake. What I remember is the long bus rides to the retreats, national retreats. Do the kids still go by bus? Do you fly them now?
Thank God for Southwest.
Anyway, that's all I have to say. And this is a great event. It was a great idea. I don't know whose idea it was, but it was a great idea. And it was great to see all of you here.
I'm Bill Magwood, sometimes called the Honorable Bill Magwood, but we won't go into that tonight. So most of you don't know me very well, but I always look like a good kid, but I really never followed rules at all. And one of the things, but I didn't disobey rules flaunt. I didn't flaunt them, but when I disobeyed them, I usually had a really good reason. And one of the things that Carol wanted me to do, that INROADS expected of me, is you're supposed to follow the rules. You're supposed to play the game. I really hated the dinners, so I didn't go. I never went. This is the first INROADS I've ever been to. So, this is a great event. INROADS is a great organization. I love you more. I love all of you who participate in this. But I would not have come to this dinner tonight if not for Carol Cohen. Thank you, Carol.
But there were so many of you guys, and seeing your faces this evening really brings back a flood of memories of just how kind you guys were, and just how neat it was just to rub elbows with you and to be around you, and it was just great.
My name is Fred Duca. I graduated Pitt in 1983. One day I was standing in front of the student union, and I was talking to Marlon Craig, and he was telling me about this great job he had. And I said, "How'd you get that job?" And he told me about this thing called INROADS. And so I immediately followed up and called INROADS and took a bus downtown, and I met with Carol. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember sitting in a chair, and she was kind of towering over me. And we were talking for a while, like 15 minutes or something, and finally she looked at me with kind of a quizzical look, and she said, "What exactly are you?" Or what? Within 2 weeks, I had a great job working at Equitable Life at the airport, making $7.25 an hour, which was big money back then. But that was my story. Thank you.
What's important tonight, as I saw in our program, INROADS is maturing. INROADS is at least 25 years old. Can we give INROADS a hand for that? But for that maturity, there's a cost and there's a responsibility. So for the passion that we feel in this room, I think that passion could turn into a gift to the INROADS organization, a financial gift. And I'm not going to suggest what that amount should be, because that passion and that amount will reflect your experience and how you feel about the organization.
I'm not going to be long.
Mike Morris, I think it was 80, something like that. But anyway, the reason why I came up is because I don't know how many of you all have your ex-boss from INROADS here, but I do have mine here. And Mr. Thornton, it's been 25 years. It's been 25 years. It's okay. I know I gave Carol hell, Mort, Nina, and also Mr. Thornton. But I just want to say that all the things that everyone has been talking about have been very true. You all have helped shape me, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
But one of the things that I liked about INROADS, which is really impactful for me, is that INROADS was really ahead of its time. It was the exposure, and it was also about what our plan was with our career. And it was interesting because when I went to INROADS, I was going to be an accountant, but my skills were really in writing. And Carol recognized that, and she sent me to this internship interview at Calgon. And it was a PR internship. And honestly, I didn't even know what a PR was at the time. I had to do some research at the library and all of that. And 30 years later, I'm still in this field. And I love it. And thank you, Carol, for pointing me in the right direction. And I have my own business now in marketing and communications. Thank you, Carol.
Francine Cameron. Being from the projects, Northview Heights, like Mike, he was at my house in a cut-up back then, had my CPA, had my MBA, but more than anything, have a community of all the people here who supported us.
It's been a glorious evening tonight and last night, especially for an old man like me to get a chance to reunite with and reminisce with all of the past INROADS. It's been fabulous. Last but not least, you have to have a leader in every committee, and our leader was Carol Cohen. Carol, would you come forward? INROADS in the first 3 years doubled in size each year. I mean, it was the fastest growing INROADS affiliate they had at that time, doubled size. Also during that period of time of Carol's commitment and all this, I believe, and Reginald might say something about this, I think we had the strongest alumni association in all of INROADS during that period of time. And that's why Carol is really still very much involved in that. And through her tireless efforts, we were able to pull off this reunion tonight. So I want you to give applause again to Carol. Would everyone stand, please? I want to close by giving a toast to all those your shoulders you're standing on, and I want to give a toast to you, because as you stand real sturdy, there are your kids standing on your shoulders, and many other people are standing on your shoulders. And in the words of Frank Carr, it's easy for each of us to be depressed at times and wonder, can we make a difference when there's so many problems out there? Our boat is so little, and the ocean is so large. Yet, each of us can make a difference if we light a candle in the darkness. Let's continue to light candles. Cheers.
Cheers.
I was reading in the brochure of words of Frank Carr. Frank had said those words, and I came up with those words. And also, I had the standing on individual shoulders, because I so believe that we are all standing on somebody's shoulders. They made the way for us, and then we have to do the same. So I feel very strong on this.
My story that I like to share in reference to INROADS is when I first, when the program was just starting, Moore Stanfield came to my high school, which was Langley High School, and they had a seminar. They called a group of us into this classroom, and he gave a sales pitch and everything, and it was great, but I was a little skeptical. That was in 1977, so I wound up going to the summer program at the School of Engineering, so I said, well, I'll give him a year to see if it's going to work out. Now, a lot of us are probably have moved on and dealing with our families and kids and grandkids, some of us have and whatnot, but we still cherish these memories and these opportunities. I'm looking forward to contributing and getting my son, my children involved too with INROADS. Thank you. I love you more. I love you, Carol. And the process that has been, the times have changed. There's been some challenging times we're in, but you can never have enough help, support, and tools to help you navigate your career and the course that you're on. So thanks again for being a major contributor to that and component to help me be successful. And I wish this organization the best, and also you. Thank you.
I thought making my way from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia was a long trek. Making my way to Bermuda and then London and traveling around the world is something that never crossed my mind. But INROADS makes it happen because you don't see the barriers, you just see the possibilities after a while.
I'm probably one of the INROADers that maybe took INROADS for granted. It didn't seem that difficult, and I think part of my experience in INROADS is that I had two wonderfully supportive parents who were very instrumental in my upbringing and my education, and so to me, when I got to be college age and into the INROADS program, it really was just an extension of, I think, the discipline that my parents had instilled in me. You just value and are so grateful for the opportunity that you had, because you see that corporate America is not easy to get into, and high caliber companies just don't hire you just because. So that